All right, good evening. The time is now 6:30. Welcome to the November 19th, 2020 Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting. For this evening, we do not have our chairman here or vice chair. So the four members of the board that are here will need to appoint an acting chairman for today.
I make a motion to have Phil as acting chairman.
Second.
I'm agree.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Tom. With that, I will call to order the Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting for November 19th. We will do a roll call. Jason.
Present.
Joey?
Here.
And Esteban.
Present.
All right. Not present are Scott Stachowski and Sean Michael Janssen. Item number 2, the agenda. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, item number 3 on the agenda, approval of the meeting agenda. Let you guys take a look, and I'll accept the motion. Tom, out of respect of our guests, is there any adjustment in the agenda you'd like to make?
No, sir.
Okay.
They're here just to attend, I believe.
Great.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Jason,
I'm agree.
second by Esteban. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Item number 4, approval of the minutes. Let everyone take a look.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Jason.
Agree.
Second by Esteban. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Item number 5, public comment. Tom, any public comment at this time?
Mr. Acting Chairman, there is no public comment.
All right. Number 6, committee reports. Hopewell Baseball, that's Esteban.
The fall season finished the past November 11, successful. Teams right now are just practicing for the advanced team. We expect to begin in February for the spring.
Great. Thanks, Esteban. Eagle Sticks?
They finished their season. I think currently, I think right now they're moving into select. I'll hear more later. Select is feeder, so you start going into your school zone teams. So I think Cambridge had theirs the other night. I think Norton's having theirs tonight, and that's all I know right now.
A little bit of a dead time for in between seasons.
Yeah. All right. NAFL? Tom, anything there?
Yeah, so NFL, they finished their flag season as well. They had 110 players that played out of Bell Park. Overall, it went smooth. I didn't hear anything, so that no news is always good news.
Good. Yeah. Thanks,
On a
Tom.
second note, I don't believe we had any issues with COVID. Not that I heard of. I know how you had the liaisons for each program.
Yeah, we'll cover that in item 9. We did have some in football.
Oh, you did? Okay.
With regards to halftime sports, I have not spoken to Kim since last meeting, so I don't have any update. Tom, I know you talk to him regularly. I don't know if you have any update on that front.
Yes, they are practicing now at right now 2 gymnasiums, and then we have secured a third one for games on Saturdays.
Where?
What's that?
Where?
The Mill Springs Academy.
Where's the third one?
The third one, Red Line Athletics. It's in Forsyth County.
Just curious, are they working on a contingency? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
we are.
Does those 3 locations give him the capacity he needs for his current enrollment, or no?
It could be better.
Yeah.
He's making do with what he's got.
Yeah.
It's more the practices that are challenging.
Yeah.
What we have can accommodate the games if we kind of spread them into Fridays and just have like a 2-day weekend for games. It's the practices that are really hard to get in.
And no change with the schools at this point in time?
No, and I don't expect it.
Yeah. Yep.
I will say I've talked to him regularly, coaching a couple of the teams there. Parents are pretty understanding. They get it.
Good.
Good.
Make what we can get and
Yep.
make it happen.
Yeah.
And the Mill Springs Academy places are good. So practice, that's where we did.
Mm-hmm.
And okay.
Where was that at?
Mill Springs Academy.
Where is that?
It's off New Providence Road. So if you come down here, you do hit the roundabout, past
Yeah.
Milton High School, the roundabout, you take that left there.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, probably a mile.
Gotcha. Okay.
Nice little school down there. Okay, ball fields?
They do. It is in a nasty floodplain. In fact, their baseball season last spring, I believe, they didn't get any games because it stays wet 24/7.
Got it.
Yeah. So,
Milton Mustangs?
no report.
A report. Milton Tennis?
I hate to do this to Thomas, but he probably knows more about what's going on with Terry and the tennis program than I do. Is there anything to update there?
Got their fall numbers in. Actually, this month, tennis is always continuing to go strong, and they're gearing up for their winter league. So,
Good.
Have strong numbers again.
Good. And arts programming.
I can speak for dance on that. Dance had just completed a class, and they had, I believe, 18 kids in 3 classes. One of them had like 9 kids in it. And registration is open for the classes starting next month.
And we've been happy with that partnership.
Yes.
Our job blank, we saw a presentation.
Yeah. No, she you're thinking of maybe the fitness.
Maybe we saw a dance.
Yeah. No, yeah. Rhythm and Shoes has been with us for a little bit now. We're still buttoning up on the fitness on the contract.
Is that moving forward?
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. By next meeting, we should have an update.
Okay. Good. All right. That takes care of committee reports. Item number 7, unfinished business. I don't see anything. Nope. All right.
Record time here, Phil.
Say what?
Huh? Phil might be on a record pace here.
Well,
Probably why you nominated me tonight. Scott's just so slow. I hope he's watching this right now. Just kidding, Scott. Item number 8, new business.
all right. The first item is this is more or less just a discussion, trying to get some guidance here. We got approached actually by one of our program providers who hosted a tournament last weekend and was interested in an all-day rate for the fields, which we don't have all-day rates for our rectangular fields in our ordinance. So I guess the first question is, do we want to entertain the idea? Or do we just want to stick to an hourly rate? You can rent them all day, but you just got to pay for every hour you rent. So I wanted to
All
push
right,
that
so I'm
to
just
the
going to
board
ask
get
the
some
silly question.
suggestions
Why
and
does one
ideas.
need a field all day,
Running a tournament.
run a tournament?
Yeah.
Right. What do other,
What do, I was just going to say,
what do others do?
It varies. It varies. In fact, our baseball fields do have an all-day rate, but the rectangular fields do not.
What's the discount on the all-day? I mean, we get,
I don't have that handy, but I will look it up.
roughly, I mean, you know, we look, $10 off an hour or something, I mean, which would,
I think it's like $250 a day.
oh,
I'll look it up while it's in discussion. But so I mean, if you rent it all day, that's 10 hours.
But we do
It's
have it on the
150.
rectangle, or I'm sorry, on the baseball fields.
Say that again.
We do have an all-day rate on the baseball fields.
Yes,
I guess the next question is, how often do we get that request?
that was the first time.
Or, well, let me rephrase. How often do we rent the fields all day? And I know there's another tournament up there.
A couple times a year, maybe 2-3 times.
Summertime for tournaments.
So what is it an hour normally?
75.
How much?
75.
75?
Yeah, 75 for the fields at Bell Memorial, and the Cox Road Athletic Complex is 50 an hour.
So
for
the
those
only
ones.
limitation you would have is if the rate is too low, will people come out? I remember once I was out there and they rented it for laser tag. I mean, you can't do that during the day, I don't think, but is there something that could prevent all of a sudden someone's like, well, for $250, I'm just going to rent the park all day? Are we in a situation where we would be limiting time at the park? I don't know.
Good point.
So how would we make sure we don't find ourselves?
Yeah, I
in that
mean, so when I think of that as somebody who rents fields often,
Yeah.
both Bell and at other places, like I would say, hey, if it's $75 an hour, the all-day rate's $65 an hour. So you get it for 10 hours, you're still saving $100 or
Right.
$150, but it gets away from that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, for $250, I can have the whole. Why would I rent it for the hour I need? I'll just rent it all day.
Right. So as long as it's not so low that,
Yeah.
right. I have no problem with a full day rate though.
Yeah, full day rate of,
Yeah. That has a discount for sure. Yeah.
rather than $750 for 10 hours, you get.
Now, when we say full day rate, do we limit that to hours? I mean, I know we say full day, but we're not talking about 24 hours.
No, it would
Right.
be.
No, because the park's not
Park
even
hours.
open.
Right. So what's the block? Would we do a block? Would it be a day rate is actually 6 hours, or a day rate is actually so many hours? I don't know.
Yeah, so to go back to the question, it's $175 for an all-day rental on a baseball field. I don't think in my 5 years here I've ever had someone rent a baseball field all day.
Yeah.
And it's $25 an hour for a Milton resident. So at 7 hours, you break even. Unless we say, yeah, we cap it at a number, but then you still reserve the space, the time you're actually going to use.
But the only way you can get it for an entire day is if the field is not being occupied.
Yes.
Right, so what are the odds of,
This is more of a tournament for a weekend, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no, somebody, like last weekend, when they run a tournament, it's after all the fall season's over.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so I'm sure they probably already have reserved it for next year, whenever they're going to run the tournament, right?
Yeah.
I guess, like, hey, this is the weekend fall stuff will be over, want to run our tournament.
right?
So they're getting ahead of that game.
And all the providers already have their practice. Usually you should already have their
You
practice.
can find the schedules
Yeah.
pretty close to, I mean, heck, cross schedule and tell you
Yeah.
close to when it's going to
Yeah.
start. All for
Yeah.
on it, right?
And doesn't
Doesn't change it.
Brandon always ties in makeup days on a day, even if the field's not open? Yeah. Do you not see anything? You've never had any issue before?
So let's ask the next question. How much work is it to guys to do it?
Don't be concerned with what.
Well, I mean, I say, if there's not a lot of requests for it, we don't do it often.
No.
Even if it's an hour or 2 hours of work, is it really worth doing it?
Yeah.
Right? That would be my consideration, right? Like if it's,
Yeah, where my mind went was just being consistent, right? Like, if we didn't have one and then they got to pay 8 hours times that rate versus a baseball field where you can get that for $175, why are we not consistent across all types of fields? That's my only watch out. So I like the all-day rate. It's consistent with what we've got on the diamond fields. So barring any unforeseen circumstances or unintended consequences, I agree with the concept of it.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the rate right for the reasons you pointed out makes sense.
Yeah, we just need to find a good amount, but I'm sure we can come up with something.
yeah, so I mean, I would think that go off the same model as baseball.
Yep.
7 hours times 75. Right. Get it for 10 hours or 8 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what, if someone wants to go from 9 to 9, you could.
Is this including lights, by the way?
No.
So there is a light charge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that that's probably the model you go, is that it's 7 hours for the day. Five?
Is there any reason why you don't have an unofficial ability to do it, but also if we find ourselves in a situation we didn't think about, that you can stop doing it? Like, is there any?
Well, we could always change
Yeah,
it.
council can vote to probably, pull
Right.
that. They'll have to also do the same thing and vote it in.
Right. I mean, because I can't anticipate anything really, but, something could happen, and then we go, wait, we didn't think about that. And as long as we can get out of finding ourselves in, I don't see anything happening though. Like I said, the laser tag thing was kind of funny, actually. And of course, it has to be at night.
Yeah, I think that's the only valid point, as long as it's expensive enough that people don't.
Yeah. Because, you could
But-
just
but
rent the field
fairly
for an all-day
consistent.
kickball party.
Well, that's why I said 7 hours, the same as what baseball is, if we think that's a good,
I think all day.
7 hours to get your 12.
Right.
Yes. I mean, all day have to be a limitation. Like, it's not all day, it's like 7
Yes.
hours.
Yeah.
Right.
All day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All day means. Last week, we have a tournament in Hopewell, Sunday, was from 9, 4 p.m. Whole tournament. 16s. We used 2 parks. 5 and 6. 7, 8 hours tournament.
How do you define all day in the baseball fields?
You would be able to use it from when
9?
9 to 9. 9, well, technically 10. I mean, or we can run programming till 10.
So,
But
let me try to summarize. I think we're all in agreement with an all-day. Tom, maybe you guys go back and think through any unintended consequences, but being fairly consistent to what we have with baseball, and maybe we can kick this
Yeah,
one
I
to
would
the
think
next
the idea
meeting.
where maybe they say, I want the all-day rate, but I'm going to be using it till 7. We block it off till 7.
Right.
If someone wants to utilize the field outside of when they're using it, they're not just hogging the field and then it sits empty for half the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you'll get those phone calls.
I will.
Yeah.
And even when people rent it, there'll be people on there. I can use it.
We'll come. Maybe you guys can table it and we can.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe button up this idea. There's definitely no rush on this.
Yeah. Let us all think about it. You guys do the same, and we'll keep it on the agenda for next month.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, 8 hours. I mean, I don't know right now, but it's just to put the limitation that the people take advantage of it. I have to feel all the day, so again, 8 hours.
What are the park hours? 9 to 10? Are there established park hours?
When sun up till 10 p.m. So
by
before 9,
default,
you could technically probably do something at 8
Yeah.
if you can get people there.
yeah.
Do we not have those long tournaments for baseball that some of these parks do where they're playing until midnight? Okay. I mean, I've heard that happening where they play each team that wins, and then at the end, the last game could be midnight.
Yeah, maybe summer.
Yeah.
Now,
No. Yeah.
it just depends how many teams.
Yeah.
Or like a tournament, 18, 16.
Yeah.
9 to 4, 5 p.m.
Okay. Yeah. You don't need a motion on that, do you?
Why don't we do that? Why don't we motion it to table it to next month?
Okay. I motion to move the all-day rental rates and facilities conversation to next month.
I'll second.
Motion by Joey, second by Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
Cox Road, field layout?
All right, let me see how good I am at technology. Hang on, I'm going to put some images on the screens. Okay, can you guys see on the screens? All right. I've been looking at ways to try to increase the utilization of the fields we have. As we all know, turf is always preferred. Cox Road is not being utilized to its full potential. Like for instance, I just ran the numbers for October's field utilization, and we only used like 67% of prime time, practice time space. I suspect part of that is just because it's a grass field and everyone's trying to huddle in at Bell Park. And then we have a baseball program that is really growing. So I wanted to find a way to be able to accommodate all of our sports on these fields and increase the utilization and the usability. So what you're looking at here is a mock-up that our GIS department put together. And the entire field, even the dark green, would be turf. So you could play any rectangular sport, and that tan infield is not dirt. That'll just be a tan carpet. So
similar to Emerson, or what is it? What's that field's up north? That all the Lakeside.
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 Lake Point?
Lake Point. Thank you.
So, and I assume that they're not here, but your typical soccer and lacrosse lines?
Correct.
Good as
Yep.
well?
At least lacrosse. Soccer, I'm not sure. But yes, we'll definitely have rectangular lines on this field.
And then,
Fencing?
The fencing would be, there'd be backstops on the two corners and then fencing around the whole rectangular space with temporary fencing that we'd put up for the outfields for the baseball. That's the idea.
and then I guess,
And dugouts are also not on this rendering, but we would need dugouts.
and that it's possible outside of those fields, space between those fields.
Oh, similar to Forsyth.
Yeah, so because it just, so like when I run a camp up in Wisconsin, some of those, like if that was all turfed, like I look at those two fields, I can get a couple. I got that turfed area, that just adds, it makes that space more attractive. Even though I can't play games there, I can use that for drill work. I can, so that would be my, more that we can turf outside of. The more appealing it is, right? Because even on, you could warm.
Now that area is on a slope. The
Oh, in the middle.
the top field is
Got it.
probably 8 feet higher than the lower field.
Got it.
Maybe 6 feet. I'm not sure. I haven't run it, but we could potentially, put a wall in or something, and you can at least turf out one direction or the other to get more space. But the elevations are different, and you've got light poles in the middle too. So,
Does this help with the capacity at Bell?
yeah.
Would it help?
100%.
100%.
I mean, I know from the lacrosse side, right? These fields are closer to Milton. I think the Milton lacrosse folks would be happy to be there if they were turf fields, right? They come over, they drive 20 minutes over to the Bell right now, where they would much rather be at these fields. I know from the Cambridge side, even though they were grass, they don't like going there because it's a 20, 25-minute ride. Some of them, just based on where it is.
Yeah.
So they, and you see this, we're back to like Forsyth County. Sharon Springs is kind of Lambert's area, the joint venture, their other park there kind of is where South is. It's just easier for both communities, and those kind of become their natural home fields.
Yeah.
Even though they're all county parks, or, they'll all be city parks, I'm sure the Milton folks are much happier not having to go. When I say Milton folks, the people that go to Milton High School,
Yeah.
right? Just
Yeah.
because this is closer to their proximity, where the people that go to Cambridge High
Makes
School are over the other side of the city.
Tom, what kind of approval does this have to go to council? Obviously, with our recommendation, if we,
That's the idea, is to get a recommendation
yeah.
board to,
I think it's a great idea. I mean, it helps with the density, obviously, at Bell Memorial and better utilization. I don't know why we wouldn't, given the need for more active field space.
Well, especially for baseball, no question.
Yeah.
And if it's now, just curious, will you be able to put softball on there?
yes.
Okay. What about parking? Is that going to be improved
Can we get rid of that building?
Down the road,
down the road?
probably.
Jim had mentioned before or a while ago, and I don't know where this is in Public Works, but that the possibility of a roundabout pass there, because when you're coming off of that, I forget what name the road is, and you're turning right and you have to turn left to get into the field, you can't do it during rush hour. So you have to go down, over, and back.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest issue with this field and timing getting there, is you're spending a lot of time trying to get into that one. Once you get there, getting into that turn.
Yes. And there's the access at the Porter Academy as well. That's,
right.
That's just beyond, but, we're able to use that parking lot for overflow.
Yeah.
We do have an agreement with that.
But there's no question your layout here is, I mean, I like it for sure.
To that point, I would certainly recommend that we can take baby steps. Turf it first,
Yeah.
right? Then work on parking as the next project, and then
That's kind of the idea.
I don't think we want to hold up and say we want to do a whole renovation to the park.
Right.
Just having those two turf fields there
Yeah.
would certainly make a huge difference for boys and girls lacrosse, make a huge difference for baseball, right? It would.
Have you spoken to Juan about any of this? Is he okay with the layouts?
Oh, he'd be thrilled.
So it's used, I mean, because I know they're not currently using turfed infields.
Yeah, but that's becoming more and more regular.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just from their perspective, think of open up fields even when it rains, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would open up the ability for even a hybrid kind of schedule where it could be just, even if baseball only used it for 2 nights, that's still 2 nights, times how many teams, times, that gives them a lot of relief on those baseball fields when they're back into a full spring of, full capacity overflowing.
I would think that based on this layout, and probably have teams on the field, and then in that back green space, you could have doing ball drills and then swapping out, right? So you could go an hour and a half practice and 5 minutes on the diamond and 45 minutes out in. utilize those if you were just going.
The day you get them turfed, Jason's going to call you and ask you what the daily rate is to rent those.
I'm just going to assume it's going to go to $75. Yeah. Well, the $75 for the hourly. That's the hourly rate.
Now, is there no, I noticed that you've got 170 as the line on that one side. Is there no way to make that closer to 200? First field?
On that field's smaller, and this is just a, what shall I say? Just a quick rendering
Yeah.
that they put together. These aren't exact numbers. These measurements are exact, but I don't know if we could stretch out,
Right.
pull the field more south just a little bit to get more.
I mean, it's been a long time, but I think 200 is the minimum, right? Typically for
No.
Little League.
I mean, this is more for T-ball. T-ball and,
Smaller, yeah.
yes, it's more, this is 175, is more for 8, 10, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where a lot of the Hopo kids are too.
Yes.
Is at those
Yes.
age groups.
For softball,
This isn't you in college, Joey.
But yeah, it is a
Would have
small,
to be-
it is a smaller field, but you could definitely utilize it for practices and.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be for the younger kids with no fence, right? There's not going to be a fence there. And it may even, I think even just if it became a practice facility a couple days a week, you could still play all the games up at Bell where there's fence, and it's certainly alleviate quite a bit. Happy.
Yeah. I really like it. Do you need a motion to move on this, or this is just a conversation?
We could, if you are comfortable with making a motion to, proceed with this idea or concept.
So a motion for city staff to continue working forward on this. Okay, I make a motion that city staff work further on the Cox Road field layout for further discussion.
I'll second.
Marie,
All in favor? Aye?
Amy.
Aye.
I said aye, sorry.
Yeah,
Okay. Motion approved.
I mean, the C, the,
Make a motion to have this done by February.
that's the more hard. C, name.
Tom, is there a date or time frame in which you want to present that to council?
At this time, no, I don't have a time frame,
Okay.
but it's on my radar for hopefully sooner rather than later for
Good.
that.
Sooner the better.
Next
COVID
item.
spring, absolutely perfect. We probably had no rainouts this week. Perfect weather.
Naming of Cox Road Athletic Complex.
All right, gentlemen of the board, we have no sign out front because we don't really have a name for this place yet. I don't expect today we're going to come up with a list of 5 names, but I wanted to start the conversation. We'll probably, I'll leave it up to the board, but I'm thinking, we maybe bring this into next month as well, and come up with some ideas that we can. I want to name the place.
Right.
Is there any historic value to that land? Is there any history there that we should know about and consider?
It was originally built as a YMCA, and then it ended up getting purchased by some private entities a couple of times.
What is there, so probably I should know this, is there a significance to Bell Memorial? That was,
I think it was the Bell family that lived on that property.
Yeah. Is this an opportunity? And I think this goes back a couple months on some emails that you sent out initially on this, I think. But is there an opportunity to engage even the community in naming the park? Maybe. Just throwing ideas out there. I'm not the most creative guy,
Well, and I don't know what this does to it, but there may be somebody that's willing to pony up some money to put a memorial on a family name. Right? That price tag might look like, but if it was something reasonable, just put your family name out there. I don't know. Buildings all the time at universities, right?
Alberici Park. It's got a nice ring to it.
Yes. I got a $5 bill. Will that do it? It's all my wife gave me for allowance this week, $5, so. But I could save up.
What do you need from us, Tom? A name.
A name?
I mean, I know this, I know council likes to do these types of things. Is there something, is there anything we need to do from here? Just, do we want a full staff? Just start thinking about possibilities and.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
We've been operating it now for, 11 months.
Yeah.
With no name, and another few months isn't going to stop anything, but.
Right.
Yeah, in my head, I had the board coming up with, a list of names that
Yeah.
council could kind of,
We can do that.
mull through,
Yeah.
and choose
Okay.
from. And it doesn't have to be today, like I said, but,
Yeah.
at least get it started. with
I
the
agree.
conversation.
We have
And I
homework.
can, in a follow-up email, I can, let the other two members of the board.
Yeah. And if there really is anything to that land that might have been original that someone finds out, that'd be kind of neat, but I doubt it, but yeah. Or naming, or someone deciding, yeah.
Name it after your business. Be good publicity.
Oh, no, my partner would kill me. Yeah, never happening.
Be good publicity, Charlie. Come on.
Tom, can you send that email out to the entire Parks and Rec Board?
Yes.
Just as a reminder? Thank you.
Happy to.
All right. Next item, last item under new business, possible MOU with City of Alpharetta, youth football.
Okay, the way that the football program is currently structured, we've got contracts with the two different cities, and contractually they should be operating two different programs under the same name. So there'd be a Milton program and an Alpharetta program. That has proven to be very challenging for the football program. They would have problems fielding teams. They might only get some in the Milton program, some in the Alpharetta program. What do they do with it? And then they've got two fields at Alpharetta versus the one at Bell Memorial that we give them in the fall. This season went okay, but the way that we had to do things, they ended up putting all the tackle football at North Park, and we had most of the flag football out at Bell. The idea behind an MOU would be they could run one program in both parks, if we had a memorandum of understanding between the two cities where, the discussions now are, there'd be no, they could register and there would be no non-resident fees for a Milton or Alpharetta resident. And NAFL could schedule how they wish on the fields that they have, which would be both cities. Alpharetta brought it to me as an idea, to be honest. And I wanted to bring it to the board and see your thoughts and, answer any questions if I even have the answers. We're still kind of early on in those discussions and how it is going to be framed, but I wanted to get it in front of you, the board here.
So Tom, just so I understand, this past season, was there a scenario where you had Milton residents playing on an Alpharetta Park
Yeah.
and not being charged an out of fee or out of non-resident fee?
They were charged, if they were playing tackle, then they were, I don't know if the families were being charged, but the program was charged a non-resident fee. that they should have probably been collecting, and vice versa. So, when we build an AFL or the programs the teams that were run out of Bell Park, we charge them for the Alpharetta residents.
And so the MOU, would that preclude either city from charging an out-of-city fee?
To each city, yes.
Yes. And all this just to have scheduling. That's it.
Well, I
Access.
think if I understand it now, is that if you wanted to play flag football, you came through us, right? The city of Milton.
Essentially, the city of Milton side of the program. So they took all the registrations, and we said, a team has to have a home field, and that home field means if they're playing out of Bell Park, then they're playing in the Milton program. If the team's all Alpharetta residents, then we're...
And I think that's how they ended up dividing, right? So they said, essentially, even if you're an Alpharetta kid, right, and you wanted to play flag football, you had to come through the Milton program. If you're a Milton kid and you wanted to play tackle football,
Alpharetta.
you had to go through the Alpharetta program, Parks and Rec program. So that's how they divided it up, corresponding. It helped NAFL because they got the field space. It didn't help anybody on the MOU because people were crossing over, right?
Right. There's no multiplier in this thing, right?
There's actually no money exchanged.
Yeah, it would
Between
just
the two. There would
essentially
be there would be no exchange of money back and forth on this.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
it would just be, we essentially waive any
We
out of
basically-
city for youth football.
Sounds...
Yeah, you just open the borders for football because we
wrong with that.
have a program. We've got a field. It's a partnership. And,
Right.
and
I mean,
that
this is
makes
a
more
make sense type of situation. Just curious if it has any effect on the other sports.
Ask me that question again.
It sounds like this makes sense. I just want to make sure that what we say here doesn't have an effect on
This
any
would be
others.
strictly youth football.
Right.
Because NAFL is the only provider that goes across both of those, us and Alpharetta.
Right. Because we don't have softball fields. That's right. But yes.
They're the only one providing one sport using two facilities. Or would be considered an official provider for both Alpharetta and for Milton.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Is there any watch out in terms of registration, distribution, Alpharetta versus Milton? I know we can't control that, but is there something?
I think part of the issue before was that Milton typically has.
Oh, is that right?
So you got a trade-off here. Milton does support. I haven't seen the Alpharetta numbers. I've only been submitted the Milton program numbers, but historically it's been a Milton resident heavy program, and we've also got a situation where Alpharetta provides more field space. So it's a balance. Alpharetta provides 2 fields for football. We provide 1, but then we've got the participants. So
It sounds like it makes sense. If I'm missing something, let me know. You guys are looking at this a lot more than we are.
What was the motivating factor for Alpharetta to bring it forward?
probably the participation. Keep the program afloat.
Would there still be an issue with, would they probably keep flag at a certain location as a home field, as one of you said just recently?
Well, I think it would just open up more flexibility probably for them.
I think it would open up. I think it would open up the opportunity for tackle teams to potentially play out of Bill.
Yeah.
And more. It would open up a lot of doors for NAFL. Administratively, it makes it easier to run the program.
In the way that NAFL does it, at least or tries to do it, if they have the numbers, they have a Milton team, an Alpharetta team, a Cambridge team. To the point that they can. If they don't, so I'm sure they would love to put their Cambridge people over here just because, again, it's closer than that's far out of the way. And the Alpharetta people, right, just from a location-wise.
That's what they do today?
Yeah, they already do that,
They
right?
do.
So, I mean, like if you play third grade tackle football provided they have the numbers, they would have an Alpharetta team that wears, it says Raiders lacrosse, they have one that, or Raiders football, one that says Milton football, one that says Bears football, right?
They actually changed it this year. They went to draft.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Hmm?
They went to a draft, so.
Oh, they went old school.
Across
So
all- all the
who
teams.
was it who had all the American
The
flag
fifth grade
looking
teams were at
things?
least still that way. Because I saw.
But there
some-
could have been age groups where they were all registered from an old team that got put together.
So was flag football, they were wearing like stars and stripes, right?
Yep. That's just the NFL. That's the NAFL branding.
I mean, it looked good. It did look good. I can't see anything wrong with this, so should we, do we want a full staff or do we want to move it to next? What's your move on, what's the timing on this?
We also have a little bit of time on this. I mean, the next football season's not till the fall. So
Yeah.
Have you spoken to NAFL or just Alpharetta?
NAFL is aware of this discussion.
Well, it sounded like they
We
would
were
like
all
this.
we were all three in a meeting.
Yeah. Do you need them to give us a presentation? I mean, we don't know what they're asking exactly, right? So
Who's
it
this?
sounds like this is it, but,
Yeah, it would be the two cities that come up with
okay.
the agreement.
Do you want a motion or?
If you want a full board to discuss it further, you can do that as well. Table it to next month. That's up to.
It might be
Board.
nice to have Scott just weigh in.
Yeah.
Well, Sean Michael would have,
Yeah, and
And
John
yeah,
Michael.
good
Sean
point.
Michael would have some good insights there.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what he says too.
Why don't we keep it unfinished?
Do we have a meeting in December?
Yes.
Okay.
When is it? December 17th? Calendar down.
Oh, by the way, Tom, on meetings,
December 17th, yes.
they're still under Jim's name as the meeting organizer, which is
account-
fine.
and
But
the-
starting in January, if you wouldn't mind sending out new ones, because I think they end.
Yeah, we'll do.
That'd be great. Okay. All right, so we're pushing that one to unfinished for next month. I don't think we need a motion for that, right? I'm going to deviate for just 1 second. I failed to welcome our guests in the back of the room initially. So, hello, thank you for joining the Parks and Rec Board, and to those that were able to sign on and view online, welcome to those attendees as well. The other announcement I just wanted to take a moment and make is a big congratulations to Tom on his new promotion as the manager of Parks and Rec for Milton. Well-deserved promotion, and look forward to working more closely with you, Tom, in your new capacity. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 9, city staff reports and communications.
All right, so first up, we got Providence Park. Just wanted to give you guys an update. I don't know if you have seen this yet.
It's in the Milton Herald.
Yes. So this is the trail that we're going to move forward with. Our firm is coming up with construction drawings as we speak, and then we'll put this out to bid. The trail grant, because these trails got grant funding. We have till the end of the year next year to have these trails completed. So we're kind of on a deadline. In fact, we just got an extension approved to push it to next year. So this is what we're going to have out at Providence Park. The yellow trail is ADA and paved. And then the green trail is going to just be a natural, what's already out at Providence Park now. And there's 2 boardwalks, and there will be a pier at the end of the north side of that purple boardwalk, the fishing pier.
It's good. That was a nice grant to get. We'll take it.
We will take it.
It's good.
How long is the loop? How long is that loop?
Oh, about a half mile, a little over a half mile. Oh, the whole loop?
Yeah.
probably a mile, just under a mile for the whole loop. But I know the paved is just a hair over a half mile.
And that was part of the stipulation to get the grant, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it needed to be a half mile.
Yeah.
And the grades could not exceed 5% anywhere.
And this doesn't have any effect on our previous plan, right?
No.
Okay.
No, it diverts from the plan a little bit,
Right.
but it doesn't hinder
Nothing from
any
major-
of the other amenities
Right.
that we were looking at doing.
Okay.
Did we ever address the water flow into the quarry there?
It has not been, nothing's been done yet.
Nothing's been done,
over
okay.
there, no. And here is the proposed restroom. We are vigorously working forward to get this final plan also approved. It is a composting restroom, and it's got parts of the roof are a green roof. And this plan is not exactly what it's going to end up looking like, but it's very close. It's going to be a little bit smaller, and there will be one sink in each restroom instead of two. But besides that, this is essentially what it will look like.
Same location as the other dwelling or different location?
Different location. It'll be in the front by the parking lot.
Oh, it will.
If you-
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you're familiar with Providence Park, you pull in on the right is the parking.
Yeah.
It'll be directly across, essentially right when you walk onto the red trail. It'll be right to the left as you're walking on the red trail.
Okay.
What's the space in the backside of the building?
Storage. And then that's where I'm not familiar with the term, but that's where the big bin is for all the waste.
Got it. That type of storage.
That type of storage.
Understood. I like it. Does this have to be done by next year too? Or will
Yeah,
it?
we have less time on this. September.
Great. It's awesome.
But the
Looks good.
acting community development director / city architect is confident we'll be able to knock this out. Once we get the drawings, it should go pretty quick.
Good.
The construction documents. The next up, any questions? Any more questions on that? All right, moving on to the former Milton Country Club. The exterior buildings, there we go. The exterior buildings if you're looking at the building on the left side, where all the cart barns and pole barns were. The top three pictures are what it used to look like, and then we had everything demolished, and right now we've just got some grass growing. Just so you're aware.
A lot cleaner.
Pardon?
It looks a lot cleaner.
Yes, it does. It looks great. A lot of concrete came out to make way for our trails. This will eventually be the trail out.
Looks good.
All right, next is the COVID-19 report. I don't know if this comes out accurate, but I'm happy to say we only had 5 reported cases this entire fall that were reported to the city. 3 in football, 2 in baseball. I'm not entirely confident that's all of them, but the numbers were low, and I was encouraged to see that. I'm anxious to see how it turns out with basketball, with it being an indoor sport, and unfortunately for them, the numbers are kind of on the rise. So, but it's nice to see that we must have done something right, because we didn't get any widespread through the sports or anything like that.
Now, do we have any contingency plans in place that should cases go higher, should schools shut down? I'm just thinking 2 steps ahead, what we would do with our program providers if those situations were to occur.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have a written plan, but those discussions would happen if the numbers continue to They're more rising. They're not really spiking around here. But if they continue to rise to a point where schools start closing and those types of actions, then
Yeah.
we would have to step in and also follow suit. And I have a lot of peers in the area in Roswell, Alpharetta,
Yeah.
and we're on calls at least every month and keeping in contact and seeing where everyone's pulse is as far as canceling and pulling the plug on
Yeah.
things. There's been no discussion of that as of yet.
Okay. But it's on your radar. Should things,
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
I sent an email today to Kim to make him aware that
good.
if things continue to rise with the numbers of the COVID cases, that is a possibility.
Good.
He's aware.
That's the only one outside of the standard ones that go all the time, right? Basketball.
Yeah, and we've got the dance program as well.
But those go year round.
Tai Chi, yeah, right.
Biggest impact.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we got the PRAB member update. Dave Shannon has officially resigned, and he was the mayor's designee, so the mayor's aware, and he is searching for a replacement. Hopefully sooner than later we can get one on board. So, getting these meetings to happen will be a little easier. I feel like we've scraped by the last few meetings, getting a quorum here. Just wanted to give you guys an update on that. The Wall of Fame was fantastic. Thank you, Phil, for coming. I thought it went well for my first year. I didn't go to the first one, so we've got some tweaks we're going to do for next year. But overall, I think it went well. We had a good turnout. Thomas, how many people do you think were there? I didn't count, but I would guess at least 40.
They're all together?
Yeah.
Yeah, upwards of at least 30 plus folks all together. A lot of support from our families. Each of the 7 inductees were represented and spoken for, and yeah, I was proud of it, and I thought it went very well. So.
Great.
Yeah.
And-
You guys did a really nice job. It was easily 3 to 4 dozen people. You had city staff, you 2 guys. You had a couple of council members. You had the inductees, some of the inductees and their families. Mm-hmm. Plus, it was just a busy day there at the park. A lot of baseball going on. So there was a lot of passerbyers just kind of stopping and watching and observing. And it was cool because I didn't go last year either. So this was my first experience. And it was a really neat moment.
How was it for the families of the PRAB members?
Good. They all made comments.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a nice, touching moment. Yeah.
Ron's twin daughters were very touching for me.
Yeah. That was sweet.
I wasn't expecting that, and it was awesome.
Yep.
It was awesome.
Yep. Matt Coons spoke on behalf of Van,
Yeah.
which is real nice. So, no, great event. Really enjoyed that. You guys did a nice job pulling that together. That was great.
Thank you. Lastly, we have the Lionheart Works Partnership opportunity. We've had a couple of meetings with Lionheart. Lionheart is a school. It's based out of Alpharetta, and it's a school for individuals with special needs. And the Lionheart Works program is structured for the older kids, where they're transitioning out of school into work, and it's essentially job placement for them. And Lionheart's been a great partner to the city. They apply for a grant with us, or we apply with them for Camp Joyful Souls grants. And for the last 4 or 5 years, we've gotten grant money from Fulton County that Lionheart applies, and we're a partner. And it helps support Camp Joyful Souls. And it's a cool idea to have them. The idea of this partnership would be to have one of their individuals looking for work to maybe potentially work at the park, part-time, helping our contractor Triscapes do, janitorial, change trash, pick up trash, maybe line the fields, things like that. And they've got a few young individuals that apparently love working outside. And I've met one of them, really cool kid. And so we're looking at what's the best way to structure that. And the early indication is if they're going to be working with Triscapes out at the park, maybe just have this individual hired by Triscapes and then work in the city. I don't know. It's something I'm excited about. Something touches me. My passion for Camp Joyful Souls is,
Yeah.
can't even measure it.
Yeah.
And, that helping out someone looking for work, it's something they need. They need to work. They need to do normal things,
Yeah.
And it's a cool opportunity. And I'm still going back and forth with Triscapes as we speak, actually.
Have they been receptive to it?
They have.
Good.
They have. Triscapes is in the middle of a reorganization of the city as far as how they're serving the city. They just got a new contract with the city for all the roundabouts and right-of-ways and whatnot. So they're kind of restructuring how they're handling parks too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're working this individual or two into that new restructuring. So
Does Triscapes do the trash at the park too?
mm-hmm.
They do. Yeah.
Yes, they do all the bathrooms. They do.
Yeah.
They do everything.
Did you ever go any further on the, what was it, Ranger?
Park ranger?
Yeah.
No,
No,
not yet.
okay.
It's not dead.
Yeah.
It's just it's been busy.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah.
So, we'll probably next year we'll probably be in a better position once we kind of refill the department.
Still waiting for my honorary badge.
Maybe you can run the program.
Maybe I will.
You can give yourself.
Maybe
a
I
badge.
will. So the Lionheart sounds like a good opportunity, Tom.
Yeah, I would, I think it's, depending on how it works with Triscapes, I would also look, so in New York, I have a brother who essentially takes both some folks with special needs, some that are there, and gets them jobs at nonprofit. And it's all federally funded, so it works for the nonprofit because they're not really paying them. And it works for these individuals because it's building. So that's what he does. It's really over the summer. So there may be funding around that to do things. To help them build their resume, build work experience.
Yeah.
Works out for everybody.
Yep.
We've had a gentleman, Santino, who's been he was brought in through a different agency, and he's been he worked up in the clerk's office scanning documents and whatnot. Santino's, I don't know how old Santino is, but he's been at the fire department basically organizing their whole storage room for all their PPE equipment and inventorying it, keeping it organized, and he's awesome.
That's
He's
great.
awesome. Yeah.
That's so cool. Good to hear. Good. Do you need anything from us on that, Tom?
No.
No. Okay.
No misdirecting, Chairman.
Anything else on city staff reports?
I do not have anything else.
All right. Takes us to item number 10, other business. There will be none. All right. I will take a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Jason, second by Esteban. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion accepted. Meeting is